the mental health crisis. So I want to bring in this awesome volunteer who's been here throughout the day volunteering here at WCNC. Her day job is at New Hope, though. She's the clinical director, Rebecca Spanberg. Rebecca, great to have you here. Appreciate your time. Yeah, I know I don't know exactly what you guys do, so we'll start there first. Talk about what New Hope is and how you guys bring hope to our community.
Sure. New Hope is a residential treatment facility for adolescents, and we serve kids, both boys and girls, who have been affected by mental health issues, a lot of trauma, a lot of anger, depression, things like that. We also have some other services that we have in York County, MST, which is multi-system therapy, that we do in the home.
Okay. Awesome. And in my house, we know how important mental health is. My wife's a therapist, a mental health therapist, so it's critical, obviously. And we always talk about healing yourself, right, so that you can love on others. And that's sometimes hard to, it's hard to do. It's easier to say, and sometimes people just need that first step, right? How to get started. So we often say, if you're in a crisis, or maybe if you know somebody in a crisis, to call, but you don't have to be in a crisis. So what does that look like if someone thinks that they need help? What can they do? What should they do? What does that look like?
Just reaching out to someone. NAMI is a great organization, National Alliance on Mentally Ill. Reach out to them. They've got lots of resources. Your school, go to the school officers and talk to them. But just don't ignore it. Ask questions.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the middle of this epidemic, this mental health crisis in and of itself. And I think a lot of times, especially with social media, right, playing in on folks' insecurities and the things that they see. And sometimes these kids, even adults, can't get away from it. That has to be a factor. Are you guys seeing that? And maybe some advice to parents, to kids out there about that as well.
Yes, just keep the communication open. I have 2 girls myself, and I talk to them all the time about what you see versus what it is. Talk to them a lot about that. Just keep the communication open. Listen. Not only just talk, but listen.
Okay. It's great to see that you and New Hope and NAMI are here. Do you guys coordinate at all? Are there any services that you guys share, or you work off each other at all? Talk about that collaboration.
We do like to coordinate. We are a big sponsor of the NAMI Walk in York County, South Carolina. We are doing things like this. We also try to pair with them and working on pairing with them with getting supports for families for the kids who come to our treatment. Because they come from all over, so the families are in different places. So we use a lot of NAMI resources to direct the families to get some support for themselves. Yeah,
I want to go back to what I talked about healing yourself first. I was raised in a family that was blessed. And I think a lot of folks sometimes can take a step back and realize sometimes the situation maybe is, or maybe it wasn't what they wanted. But a lot of times it's on us to try and find that fix or that help, right? I guess what's one thing that you advise folks to do to try and take that first step, other than just communicating, because it is hard, especially with men. We don't necessarily talk a lot about it. It's not over beers. You'd rather talk about sports, not something you talk about necessarily. Yes. But you talk a little bit more about that, if you would.
Sure. One of those first steps is just saying it's okay to yourself. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cliche enough, but it's true.
Yeah.
And reaching out to maybe a local mental health center, or Psychology Today has a wealth of referral type stuff.
Yes.
And so to talk to someone. There's all kinds of different people now who are therapists, who are mental health counselors, and you can find someone who is your people.
Right.
It might take a few phone calls and a few interviews, but you can do that.
Yeah, I always tell people that. Yeah. Don't stop at one. Right. Try to find a couple.
It's exactly. It's a relationship.
Yeah.
And so not everyone you meet is going to be your relationship person. So it is a therapeutic relationship. So you got to keep talking to people.
I love that. And also back to the family approach, because I think that gets lost, right? Individuals is great. Couples therapy, awesome, right? Especially for folks who are thinking about or maybe are married. But families, what does that look like? I mean, do you guys bring in whole families, or maybe sometimes individuals, and then go? What does that look like? That type of treatment?
Yeah. So we, just by the definition of what we do, we're residential, and so we bring the kids in. However, we aren't an auto mechanic. We don't fix the kid and send them back.
Right.
We include the families. We have funds to help bring the families in for weekends, for visits. We have, we use a lot of electronic as far as virtual stuff
Yeah.
to make sure that they stay connected, because it's, even if the kid is the identified patient, so to speak, their behaviors affected the entire family, and so the family has to heal,
Yeah.
not just the kid.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we do everything we can to make sure that we get those families in as much as possible,
Yeah.
so that they can start to heal.
Yeah, and I gotta ask about this because it's something that I have spoken with many people at length. But it seems like, and we've done a story actually with Pride Magazine on a therapeutic or a therapy where a place where it's women and girls, and their focus is on getting folks that are normally looked at as minorities, right, black and brown folks in there, because sometimes in those communities it isn't, again, talked about. So are there any things that you guys have specifically in the black community or the Hispanic community that, because I think in those communities sometimes there's a stigma around mental health. So how can we get around that? Or are there things that you guys are working on to maybe bolster that?
Yeah, that's a great question. That is something that is on our radar that we would love to reach into further to do that. But going back to, how do you do that? It takes those pioneer people, those one or two people that are in front of the cameras, that are in front of people to say, look, here's what's going on with me, here's what's happened to me, and be that pioneer that goes first.
Yeah.
And those are brave people.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
But yeah, that's something that we would definitely love to reach into and do further work
Well,
with.
I wouldn't be here if I didn't have my therapist myself, and I know there's a lot of young men and women who rely on those services, and I cannot thank those individuals enough, because it is hard. It's a hard business. My wife's a therapist, so I see the long hours. Obviously, I don't know the people she's working with, but I know that they really cherish her and cherish the work that you guys are doing. So we appreciate it. We appreciate you guys making sure that you guys are here and volunteering for this. So I just want to run through our info really quick. So our phone bank going to be going on until 7:30 tonight. Our volunteers are out there. Reach out, please. 704-329-3703, and we'll put this up on the screen here in a second. And if you don't want to call that, and maybe you're in a crisis or you know somebody that's in a crisis, call 988. Just take that first step. I think you're going to really thank yourself once you get through this process that you reached out and did something for you. So that's why we're here, and that's what we're trying to do. So great to meet you, Rebecca.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks so much for what you guys do at New Hope and at NAMI as well. We've reported on your organizations, and we'll hopefully continue our partnership as well.
Yes.
So thanks. Have a great night.
You